is everybody? Thanks so much for joining me today. I am here and very excited to be talking with the one and only Marc Cashman. Thank you so much for joining us, Marc. How are you
Thank you
today?
so much for having me today. I'm really anticipating this and next week's session, which is going to be great.
Oh, I know. I'm super excited about that. And I'm trying to remember the last time. So the first time that I had you for a VO Peeps meetup was, I want to say 2010.
Yeah,
And it was
wow.
so long ago. My gosh, right?
Mhm.
We've been friends forever. So that's really, really cool. Since 2010, when I was streaming my meetups from my coffee table, with a blue snowball mic and a webcam. So, and I remember very well, of course, how popular you were back then. So just triple that now. And I remember interviewing you at the VoiceOver Virtual, which I believe was that 2014?
Oh my
Something like
goodness.
that. So
I
yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but yet it hasn't been because we've been in touch
Yeah.
we've talked to each other and stuff like that. So it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's been that long.
I know, right? It's been that long. Now I'm feeling old.
Mm.
Anyway, so I'm
I've
super
got to think.
excited to have you um, for our workout coming up next Saturday. And our workout is called A New Perspective with Marc Cashman. But before I talk a little bit about what's going to be happening in the class, I'd like to introduce you to my peeps.
Yeah.
And maybe have them get to know you a little bit better. So I know you've been in the industry for, gosh, just about 30 years. And so I'm
Okay.
sure you've seen a ton of changes. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Marc, how you got into the industry and how you got into voiceover.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I kind of sideways. I kind of got sideways into it. I came to Los Angeles in 1978, believe it or not, and and I came here to be a writer, producer, and specialize in radio and radio commercials and things like that, and music, and I started doing it. And after a while, a number of my clients said, "We'd like you to do this. We'd like you to voice this." And I was not a voice actor. I was a writer producer, but I was not a voice actor. And I said, "Oh no, you don't want. You don't need me." I said, "I'm working with top people. You have your choice of all these wonderful people." And they said, "Yes, we know, but he doesn't
We
like
want
you."
you. Nice.
So I realized, okay, if I was really going to get into the performance side or the talent side of this, I really needed to well, basically get my act together. So it turns out serendipitously, I was invited to join one of the first voiceover workout groups that literally started in 1983,
Wow. What was the name of the group?
called the Tuesday Night Group, and we met every Tuesday night once a week for oh my gosh, I was in it for about 6 years,
Wow.
and there were about 8 to 10 people, and we would each chip in $10 to $15 and rent a studio in Hollywood for about 3 hours every night,
Wow.
every week, once a week. And we did this for years and years. And I got lucky. I was the neophyte in the group, and there were veterans in there. And I just
Hmm.
came, and I was just a sponge, and learned from veterans, from top
Hmm.
people who, well, again, they made it look so easy because they were pros. And that's where I got most of my training. Is
Wow.
just basically working with these people in a workout group, and literally working out every week, once a week, for six
Hmm.
years. And the best actors never stop learning.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to find courses to take that's where I can learn something new.
Hmm.
Improv courses, acting courses, public speaking courses. I'm even taking next month a breathing course, a
Wow.
course
I
on
love that.
how to breathe. Now, people say, "Well, Marc, you've been in the business a long time. You know how to breathe."
Hmm.
Yes, I know, but I've been self-taught. My breathing is self-taught. I'm not, and so if I can learn something new from somebody and make my performances better, I'm sorry, but that's great as far as I'm concerned. So,
I love that.
that's how I kind of got into the performance aspect of it, and I continue to keep writing and producing and casting, and then at around about right around the turn of the millennium, around 2000, people said, "Why aren't you teaching?" And I said, "Well, there are a ton of teachers out there, and what could I possibly add?"
Hmm.
And they said, "Well, you could probably add a lot." And I said, "Well, I'll think about it." Well, talk about serendipity again. Right after that, one teacher, a very renowned teacher in the business, said, "I'm going on sabbatical for 3 months. I need somebody to take over. You were referred to me. Would you be interested in teaching my class?" Wow, sure, why not? So I did. I taught the class during the summer, and when they got back, they said, "Everybody's been raving. Would you like to continue?" I said, "Yeah, I would, but I need to do my own thing." Only because I needed to I needed more structure. And the course that I had inherited, there were too many people at too many
Mm.
disparate levels, and everybody was kind of adrift, and there wasn't any structure to it. And
Hmm.
so I felt at that particular point that if I was going to do this, and I figured, okay, I could do it. It was fun. That I would do something that had some structure, and that's why I also developed my report card.
I
I'm the
remember
only
that report card.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
do.
only
I do.
teacher, as
Hmm.
far as I know, I'm the only teacher in the world who actually gives students a report card when they are
Yep.
done their course, depending upon what level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Um, and the report card's like an X-ray of your skill sets, and it shows where you're strong, and it shows where you might be weak, and it makes recommendations should you want to continue. And the report card was really a reflection of my overall instruction, and that is that I think that I put the course together as if I were a student and said, "What do I want to get out of it? What would I like to get out of a course? What would make me satisfied at the end of a course that I got, some feedback?" And that
Hmm.
was the whole thing, is that a number of people would say to me, "Well, I took a course, and when I was done, they said, 'Good luck.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
I
Good luck.'"
I have to agree with you there because I've taken many a workshop or a course when you were done. That was it. You were done,
That's
and
it.
then
You're
you
done.
were left with like, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
And as a matter
Exactly.
of fact, that was why I started VO Peeps, so that
That's
I could, have a group and we could talk and discuss and learn.
that's right. And that's why I actually started teaching. The same reason. I wanted to be the teacher that I never had.
Mm.
And I never did have a teacher. Again, I was working with other talent and learning from them, but they weren't necessarily teaching me anything. I was learning as they were doing. And then I was absorbing and seeing
Mm-mm.
how they were doing it, and then copied them and emulated them. But I
Well,
never really had any formal instruction.
Well, there's something to be said for having 30 years of, practice and training and, working out, which I think is super important. And I love the point that you made about, being a lifelong learner. I think that's so, so important. Again, one of the main reasons why I started the VO Peeps group and why I do these monthly workouts. And I think it's super important that we all get exposure to different people and different teachers, because at
Right.
different times we're going to be, getting that light bulb hit us at different times. And I love to teach. And I know that you love to teach too, and that you're
Yeah.
really concerned about the progress of your students and really
Yeah.
helping them to be as successful as they can be. So let me ask you a question. Um, how has the industry changed for you in the past 30 years as a voice talent?
Wow. Well, it's changed in some senses, and it hasn't changed in others. People, whenever you say the phrase voiceover, the word voiceover, the term voiceover, to most lay people, they immediately thought of the intoning announcer.
Mm-hmm.
That intoning announcer, or just that announcer, just the announcer. And so there was this big push to be unannouncy, to be not announcery. In fact, you'd see scripts and directions, not an announcer. We don't want an announcer. We want somebody conversational. And that's really been one of the biggest trends overall in the business of basically, and that's partially also because of the writing. It's not necessarily because of the acting. It's the writing dictates how the actor is going to be telling the story. And so the overall change has been coming from the actual copywriters themselves, from the ad agencies, and basically tapping into millennials and first Gen X's and first baby boomers, and then Gen X's, and then the millennials, and I'm sure there are a couple of generations I've forgotten in between. But yes, they basically wanted to make things a lot more conversational, a lot more realistic. Not having your whole life centered around one stupid product, and basically have the copy be much more conversational, and as opposed to intoning announcer type of thing. But what's really interesting is the trend that I've seen lately, which is very interesting, and that's only because of, again, a generational thing. Right now, baby boomers, people my age, are retiring. But a number of them are not retiring, and they're still running things. And if you notice, if you've listened carefully, particularly to radio and TV, you'll notice a lot more older voices. Older voices are basically talking to us baby boomers, because we baby boomers do not want wet behind the ears 20-somethings telling us what to do. We want more mature voices. And that's why we have many more people on the air, voice actors, who are 40 plus.
Interesting.
Carefully, you will hear. Now, that's not to say that there isn't still the youth market. There will always be a youth market.
Well, I think that's evolving.
Yes,
right?
It is, absolutely.
As millennials start to become our bosses.
Absolutely.
They're going to hire more millennials.
More older voices on the air, more and more. Not just for broadcast, but for non-broadcast as well, for e-learning things and things like that. As the population ages and as people are trying to learn new things and new careers, and out with the old, in with the new, et cetera, we're basically getting older people explaining things. Where I'm hearing a lot of older voices doing explainer videos and e-learning type of things like that. The other explosion, of course, in voiceover has been in video games and animated voices, because the internet was a game changer. So all of a sudden, initially, the original market was just TV, Saturday morning TV. That was it for animated video, animated voices for animated series. And then, of course, video games. Well, we know the huge explosion and popularity of those, and those two areas alone have made a huge impact on voiceover. Then, of course, you add the internet and everything on the internet, and all the YouTube videos and all the explainer videos for websites, for corporations. I mean, the amount of voice work out there has proliferated it just exponentially since the advent of the internet.
I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, and the access to it too, the opportunities, the access. It's totally democratized voiceover.
And I love that you're saying that, because that's a positive thing. A lot of times these days I'm hearing, the negativity about the internet and how it's maybe brought rates down or something. But I think, Marc, what is so cool is that you've just evolved. As the industry has evolved, you yourself have evolved. I love the fact that you're talking about the different, Gen X, baby boomers, millennials, because as you know so well, it's so important in advertising, right? And copywriting, that's what our voices are doing, or selling to our target market, which is changing and evolving. And I think we need to, as voice talent, we need to be able to keep up with that. And I think that's a great segue into talking about a new perspective, the class that we're going to be having next Saturday with you, our workout from 10 to 2. If you guys are interested, you can check out our course description and sign up at vopeeps.com. And we're already half full, so I want to say, Marc is I love working with Marc. He's an amazing director, an amazing coach and teacher. And I say, get on it, guys, if you can. I'm here to just, talk wonderful things about Marc. And I think that he's going to really help to show us a new perspective. I love that. A new perspective for commercial copy, which I think is so important these days. I know that, a lot of students that I talk to and talent, sometimes the commercial genre is just like, what do we do? How do I analyze this? How do I even begin? Because sometimes the copy is written differently. It's written announcery when they want us to not be announcery, and and so how do I do that? And so I think that you're going to bring a fresh new perspective to students, which I'm super excited for to watch.
Yeah, I'm just as excited too because you talk about, in fact, Ann and I were talking earlier before this interview started about what we call the light bulb moment when we're working with people, and seeing those light bulbs go off, and just hearing them saying, "Oh, wow," and that's what inspired me to title my book the way I did. My book is entitled V hyphen OH exclamation point. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
light bulb.
Oh, wow, that works great. Oh, I never thought of it that way. And so that was the main reason that I titled the book the way it is, because I keep hearing that from almost all of my students. Unsolicitedly, I will hear in a session inevitably, and oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. I never thought of looking at it that way, but now that you're mentioned, that makes sense. And that's basically when Anne was talking about a new perspective. That's basically what I am going to give you for those who sign up in the course. And that's basically what I do for my students. I basically give you a new way of looking at copy. I'm basically breaking you of your old habits and giving you a different perspective, so that you can, and again, once we do this in the actual workshop, these are tools that you'll be able to use for the rest of your career. So it's not something you're going to learn once and forget about. This is something you're going to learn once and be able to apply to everything you do.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait. Well, Marc, if our listeners or our viewers, thanks so much, guys, for joining us today, want to find out more about you, how can they do that?
They can do a number of things. They can reach me. They can email me at Marc, M-A-R-C, at cashmancommercials.com. They could go on my website, cashmancommercials.com, and kind of bounce around and see and hear different things, demos I've done for my students, some of my keynote speeches from the voice conventions. Those are beyond silly. Demos they can hear, again, not just I've done for my students, but also stuff on my own personal page. It's Voice Cat there, and just stuff in general, hopefully to entertain everyone.
Of course. Well, thank you. So before I sign off today, I just want to remind you again, if you guys are interested, the course will be next Saturday, called A New Perspective with Marc Cashman, and it will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. You can sign up on the web at vopeeps.com. And if anybody has any questions before we sign off, Nancy says Marc's awesome. Thanks, Nancy.
Oh, man, Nancy. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? Nancy's great. I hope she's doing terrific. I'm trying to think of the last thing she wrote me with a success story.
I love success stories.
I have my students will. I've asked them to keep in touch with me after we're done, and I basically, in essence, I give them a lifetime warranty after they've taken a course with me, so that they don't feel like they're adrift at sea. That there's a lifeline, so my students can contact me anytime with any questions, and I get back to them. And the ones that I don't know, I refer them, because I sometimes people write me a techie question, and I always say I'm not a techie. I know just enough to be dangerous, but but anyway, no, my students are constantly asking or writing to me and keeping me posted and everything. And Nancy's one of them, which is great. Jody.
Jody's looking forward to the class.
Yeah, in fact, I'd like to. When you have a seminar with her, I want to sign on and hear and learn from her.
Yeah, from Jody, absolutely. All right. I had one question from Greg who wanted to know how much the class was. You can go to vopeeps.com. Our 4-hour workshop is $159, and we also have an audit option for $79. So, guys, feel free to sign up there. And with that, I'm going to say thanks so much, guys, for joining us. Mark, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're going to be here live, and I get to hug you.
Yeah, virtual hug.
No, you'll be here live in my studio, so I can hug you. It's a virtual hug today, but next week I can hug you. And just so you remote people know, you can join remotely. It's not just local Southern California thing. You can join us remotely via Zoom. So it is a hybrid class, and I'm super proud to offer those to the community. So Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to see you next week. And Peeps, love ya. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Got it.
Thanks, Mark. Bye.
Soon. Take care.